Do you have any feelings about standardized tests?
I agree with Kara, honestly. I think it's kind of hard to judge a student off of one test they take compared to their whole year of school. Personally, I'm really bad at taking tests, so when that time came around for me, it stressed me out a lot. Just because I'm going to be judged off this test that is time limited, and I keep looking up at the clock and realizing, okay, I'm pretty sure everybody else is way close to being done than I am. It's a lot of stress, and for that to determine where you're placed for the rest of the year, it's just stressful, honestly. It's a lot. It's a lot on somebody, I feel like.
And, they were around even when I was in school, and I felt very much the same way. Diagnosis for different patterns, like my son has ADHD and some other cognitive things, and he is not the best at taking tests, but he's really smart. And I myself, I loved tests. I would not consider myself any smarter than he is. He can do some things so much better than I would ever dream of doing. But if you would put the two of us side by side to take a test, I would come out ahead. And to me, that doesn't seem fair, because if you put me in front of an electronic, he would have it done. He could figure it out in 2 seconds, where I would be struggling to understand how to make this electronic thing work. So I do think it puts kids at a disadvantage to say there is only this way to measure them, instead of having categories in order to allow us to understand how to measure aptitude.
Yeah, I was planning on going to an art school since 6th grade. So obviously math and science and all that, that wasn't my favorite. I wasn't good at it. So making a standardized test more creative for people who want to go into music or art or cosmetology, who know that college isn't really for them, maybe an art school or cosmetology school or something else like that, opening it up so it's not just based on people who want to be engineers or teachers or scientists. Bring in some creativity too.
I think, speaking of art classes, I remember specifically enjoying art classes in high school because your grade was measured by your growth throughout the class and just improvement in general. You didn't have to meet a standard by the end of the year. You just had to show improvement from your first project to your last project. And I think if school in general was measured that way, not by meeting a certain standard or checking all the boxes or passing a final exam, and just on showing growth and showing improvement, that could be really beneficial, because it would encourage just any kind of effort to grow, and not just, I can kind of just pass by all these assignments as long as I pass the final test, because of course that appeals to some students because they're better at taking tests, and then it doesn't appeal to other students who are bad at taking tests. And you were talking about your sister who is a bad test taker, and so she just doesn't do any of her homework assignments because she doesn't care, because she knows she's going to fail the tests, which is going to put her in a bad place for the class in general. But if the class was measured in a way of, hey, you did bad on this homework assignment, but you did a little better on this next homework assignment, you did a little better on the next one, you get an A. That would be really great. I think that would open up a lot of doors for young kids.
I totally agree with that, and I feel like it'd take a lot of stress off students too. Just knowing they're not based off a number. It's improvement. It's about becoming an adult and getting better and better, instead of meeting the requirements.
I think something that that I notice from the older generations is criticism on our generation's work ethic. And I think a lot of it comes from the fact that our school systems do not promote work ethic. They do not encourage effort. They just encourage you to pass a test, And so I think if it shifted more to that, to where we see that you're putting effort in and that's how you're going to earn a good grade, it would change just even the personality all the way down to the work ethic of kids that are going through school.